Hi everyone, this is Don Isik again, and this is my second screencasting video. So right now, I've already discussed to you the aspects of communication, what are those aspects, what is language, and what is communication all about. Right now, let us proceed to another topic. This time, we will be discussing the elements of communication. So the basic communication model consists of five elements of communication. So let's find out. So first is the sender, message, the channel, receiver, and lastly the feedback. So right now, let us all discuss each of the elements of communication. So first, let's begin with the sender. So the sender is the speaker or the person who encodes and initiates the process of communication. The sender plays the specific role of initiating communication. To communicate effectively, the sender must use effective verbal as well as nonverbal techniques. The sender is considered to be the source of communication. Speaking or writing clearly, organizing your points to make them easy to follow and understand, maintaining eye contact, using proper grammar, and giving accurate information are all essential in the effectiveness of your message. You will lose your audience if it becomes aware of all these oversights of your parts. The sender should have some understanding of who the receiver is in order to modify the message to make it more relevant. So that is the sender. Next, let's proceed to the message. So the message is the idea being transmitted by the sender to the listener. The message may be the most crucial elements of effective communication. A message can come in many different forms, such as oral presentation, written document, comments, or even advertisements. And the basic communication model, the way from one point to another, represents the sender's message traveling to the receiver. The message isn't necessarily what the sender intends it to be. Rather, the message is what the receiver perceives the message to be. As a result, the sender must not only compose the message carefully, but also evaluate the way in which a message can be interpreted. So that is message. Next, let's proceed to the channel. So the channel is the medium or the vehicle through which the messages is sent. So the channel sits between the sender and receiver. Many channels or types of communication exist. For example, radio, a television, a book, internet site, or even magazine. Every channel of communication has its advantage and disadvantage. For example, one disadvantage of the written word on a computer screen or in a book is that the receiver cannot evaluate the tone of the message. For this reason, effective communicators word written communications clearly so they don't rely on a specific tone of voice to convey the message accurately. The advantage of television as a channel for communication includes its expansive reach to a wide audience and the sender's ability to further manipulate the message using editing and special skills. So that is channel. Next is the receiver. So the receiver is the person who receives the message or for whom the message is meant for. The receiver means the party to whom the sender transmits the message. The receiver can be an audience or can only be a one person. The receiver can transmit feedback through either asking questions, making comments, or supporting the message. Feedback helps the sender to support the message that was delivered. So that is receiver. So the receiver can also communicate verbally and non-verbally. The best way to receive a message is to listen carefully, sitting up straight and making eye contact. Don't get distracted or try to do something else while you're listening. Nodding and smiling as you listen to the sender speak demonstrate that you understand the message. And lastly, the feedback. The feedback is the reaction given by the receiver to the sender of the message. This is the last element of effective communication. It describes the receiver's response or reaction to the sender's message. The receiver can transmit feedback through So I have here examples. This is John and this is Anne. So John here is the sender and he is having a conversation with Anne and he said, "Hi Anne, how are you?" So the message of this illustration came from the sender, which is John. So the channel that is being used by this illustration is in verbal aspects because they're having an actual conversation and they're having an eye-to-eye communication. Next is receiver. So Anne here is considered to be the receiver of this illustration. And he responds to John, "Hi John, I'm doing fine." So basically that is when the feedback occurs. So this is an example of an element of communication. So I hope you've learned something. Thank you for watching.